Let me also go across to our guest who's joining me right now is Colonel Rohit Dev, who is a defense expert. Mr. Dev, thank you for joining us here at Mirror Now. Good morning. We were just hearing what my managing editor, Nikunj Garg, was saying, that it is a case of an unauthorized firing. And that is something which is a matter of concern, but not really a reason to panic. Within the cantonment, when firings like these take place, especially when lives have been lost, do you think there would be an investigation that is the need of the hour right now to understand what exactly has happened, but ruling out any reason to panic or raise an alarm?
Right. So there are two perspectives to see, and the first one is that was it a terror attack, and I don't think so. That's my analysis of the situation, because the timing of this attack internally, there has been no breach on the circumference of Bathinda cantonment. The smart systems which are there for the surveillance are intact. The guard posts are intact. There has been no kind of interaction with the outer perimeter of the cantonment. So I believe something has happened internally. So there are only two situations which can happen. One is that if somebody has infiltrated and been in the camp for some time, that is highly unlikely. What is likely is probably at around 4:35, 5 o'clock, people are saying this incident. So mind goes back to the military days. It could very well be a case of internal activity, maybe a factory side or something. And I will probably analytically stick my neck out to say it's a case of fratricide, but I won't be too sure. And the other input I got also was from some other channel, maybe 2-3 minutes back, that there was a case of loss of Insas rifle and some munition a couple of days back, reported to the civil police as well. So my suspense says that it is something internal, more of a psychological, sociological aspect of interaction between maybe a set of individuals inside in the cantonment. And it is necessarily not a cause of alarm outside the cantonment, but internally in the army circles, I think it's a cause of alarm, because firstly, if it's a case of patricide, there have been far too many lives lost in the army to this kind of an activity, as well as suicides. And I think it's an internal issue which the army will probably take care of, and we'll come to know the details probably not today or tomorrow, but maybe a little later. But I think there is a cause of concern, because no life lost of a military trained uniformed personnel can be a case of any kind of activity which we can take it even with a pinch of salt as a normal activity. It's a very different thing to lose lives, and it's also certainly a very different parameter to lose lives in a cantonment while you are a process of training and administration. And that is where I think the authorities will look into this particular incident and see how to nip it in the bud.
Well, I appreciate you joining us here, Mr. Dev. But let me also go across to other guest who's joining me is Colonel V.N. Thapar, who's a defense expert. Colonel Thapar, thank you for joining us here at Mirror Now, taking our time for us. Like Mr. Rohit Dev was telling us about it, that it was a case where perhaps a rifle had gone missing, and then there was an open fire that took place today in the early hours. The only saving grace is that it took place in the morning hours of the day, and that is the reason why it did not reach to that level of an alarm or a panic situation. But talking to you earlier, you did mention how Bathinda cantonment is a large expanse of space. Please take us to the details when an unauthorized firing like this takes place within the cantonment, which is an area of concern, because this is supposed to be the military base. What can we expect hereafter as far as a line of investigation is concerned?
Good morning to everybody. I think it's a very sad and a bad day to start with such a news, where we've lost four soldiers. And I can dare say that, we can't afford to lose soldiers in peacetime at all, because we are under so much pressure for trained people, and we can't afford to lose, no matter what the cause is. So that is my first observation. The second is, I think I will not like to hazard a guess as to what has happened till the inputs are very, very clear. And it's only a matter of few hours when the inputs will be available as to what really happened. Now, Bathinda is a huge cantonment. I mean, it's a massive cantonment. And there are shopping areas, and what is worse is that there is a road passing through the cantonment, which makes access to the cantonment rather easy. So those are the two observations I have on immediately. And then you see we have there is Bathinda is not unknown for its criminal and for its smuggling activities. And we have terrorism going on in small bits and pieces, including whatever has happened recently. Bathinda comes every now and then for some such activity also, Bathinda figures. So these are some of the things. Yes, there is every cause of concern. Such a thing should never happen in any army unit, whether it is fratricide, whether it is terrorism, whether it is any other cause, revenge killing or family vendetta or things like that. It should not have happened at all in a cantonment. And there are people who will take care of this. What I want to say is that at this moment of time, it would be too premature to say if there's been a failing or we should have alarm everybody by saying it's a very sad incident, but it has happened. So as far as this business of quick reaction teams are concerned, I just want to say that it is not as though on a flip of the finger, the quick reaction team will move. The men are deployed in various places and they have to come, gather, get into the vehicle and move to the required. There's a time lapse between the incident and between the time the quick reaction team can reach the site of incident to take action. So, and if it is a planned kind of activity, then the people who have executed this would have done it in the shortest possible time and vanished. So that is what I want to say. But the last point I want to say is that at night all the weapons are, after the day's work is over, all the weapons that have been taken out from the armory are put back into back to the armory and accounted for, and then they are sealed and no weapon can come out. So, but in these areas, getting a weapon from outside is not a problem, no problem at all. And a lot of smuggling activities goes on in particularly narcotics this area is infamous for it. Then of course there is other normal crime that takes place, and in addition we have some amount of terrorist things also coming. So these are all the factors that we must take into consideration, and I will not hazard any opinion, affirmative opinion, till we get proper confirmed inputs. It will be too premature, and all I can say is that it's a very sad thing. It should not have happened, and commanders at all levels will take care of this particular event that has taken place. Yes.
Thank you, Colonel V. N. Thapar, who's a defense expert, for joining us here and sharing your views and making it amply clear that this is too premature right now to jump to any conclusion. Thanking also Colonel Rohit Dev for taking our time and putting your thoughts across on this story that we are tracking very closely here at Mirror Now.